Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Local Business Spotlight. My name is Diana Lockie. I'm a local real estate agent here in Apex and Cary area. And today I have Heidi Giusto. She's the owner of Career Path Writing Solutions right here in Apex. Heidi, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you here today.
Thank you for doing this interview with us and showing our audience, local audience actually in Apex, of what business you have here. We're very excited. I'm very curious to learn about your business. So please tell us about it.
Yeah, thank you for asking. So as you already mentioned, I own and operate Career Path Writing Solutions. It's a boutique communications consulting firm, and everything about it is dedicated to helping you communicate when it matters most. And in practice, what that looks like is I work with job seekers day in and day out on their job search campaign. And so I'm working on resumes, CVs, depending on the person's background, cover letters, LinkedIn, both how to have an optimized profile, but also to optimize your use of LinkedIn, because so many people are on it just because they know they're supposed to be, and that's where it ends. And all the way through interview preparation and salary negotiation. So that's really what I do with career management. And I'm all about proactive career management, because you never know what may happen later today or tomorrow, good or bad, right? Layoffs or unexpected opportunities. Outside of that, I also offer book editing and communications consulting more broadly to individuals and businesses, sometimes business owners who write books. So I do quite a bit of book editing as well. And to round all of that out, I teach workshops on this to at universities for programs, fellowship programs, things like that, and at corporations. And sometimes I do outplacement services, but everything, there's a range of services, but it's all around helping people communicate when it really matters.
Yes, yeah, I can see that how important it could be for someone. We're all good at our technical job, at what we learn to do in school and what we practice and with our experience. But when it's time to actually promote ourselves, that's where it becomes a little bit challenging. Yeah. And I can see how that would be useful for someone maybe getting into the country with a new work visa, and you have to learn the language and how to properly promote in this country, for example.
Yes. So part of my background, I used to work with, and I still do, but I'd say I got a lot of my training in part working with international students when I was a graduate student at Duke, and I worked in the writing studio. And that was just tremendous opportunity for me. I realized like my passion, and which is kind of awkward because I was training to be a history professor. That is what I have 3 degrees in history. But I learned what I really like doing, working with people with, on their writing and communicating. And part of the professional development we did as writing consultants at the writing studio was learning, like increasing our cultural awareness and a lot of things with writing and, speaking as well, but specifically writing. It's not right or wrong. It's just like, well, what are the cultural norms here versus somewhere else? So for a lot of people, depending on cultural background, what is just required here is almost like nauseating to them, because they're like, well, this feels like I'm bragging and all this. And so we focus on, when I work with people, it's like, well, just at the very basic level, you must, if you want them to know, you must tell them using clear, precise language, not fluffy adjectives, but it can be a very big adjustment, depending on cultural background and just personality type. Some people are just much more of the mindset, well, my work should speak for itself, but that can be self-limiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah. And also I can see that, for example, a mother who's been out of the workforce for a long time raising children, and now our kids are grown up and we're ready to go back. We still know what we're doing at work. That never went
That's
away. But then, okay, everything changes. Now we have to be online, now we have to do more, different way. The language changed, that's for sure too. So I can see how that could be of value too for
yeah.
someone. Mhm.
Yeah, anytime somebody takes a break from the paid labor force, because I am a mother and being a parent is labor, it is work. So I'm very clear, the paid labor force. It is unfortunately, it can be challenging. And that's where both leveraging a network and being able to communicate that value. And sometimes people do need to upskill. So it might be that, like, well, I'm rusty on this or that. So you take an online course or something like that. But that is where, communicating is really valuable, because if you're meeting somebody and you're having a conversation and the first thing you say is, oh, I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 7 years. And now that my kids are in school and right. And like leading with that, the very first, that's how people perceive you. Oh,
Mhm.
a stay-at-home mom versus, yeah, I have a marketing background. I had 6 years in marketing. I'm really excited for my next opportunity. Right? Very different perception
Yeah,
about, you know, what job, how they're picturing that person as a professional.
yeah.
It might not be fair, but it is kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And that's why we need help. And I'm glad your business is right here in Apex, that we can always call you. And I'm sure you do. You probably can do it online also. You can do the consultations online.
Yes. So I'm always, I work with a lot of people locally, but I have clients all over. Just last week, I wrapped up with a client, a long-term client. She comes back every year or so for updates or things, this and that, in Ireland. I work with a lot of people in California, Northern Virginia, New England. So I'm very much rooted in the triangle. I've been here for almost 20 years. But I do everything nowadays, unless I'm presenting, doing a presentation. I do everything either by phone or Zoom.
Okay. Yeah, that's very helpful and more flexible. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make, it's funny in the kind of in the world as it is, it doesn't make sense for me to have to be out at Publix Point, right? And
Yeah.
have a building there, because a lot of I'm working across time zones and just things like that. So it is interesting how we work nowadays.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Heidi, where are you originally from?
I am from Northeast Ohio. So I grew up in between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, outside of a town called Youngstown. So I'm getting really specific. The little town was called Hubbard, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. And you've been in the triangle for about 20 years, you said?
Close to that, which is hard to believe. Um, in 2005, my husband and I, we were newlyweds, and we moved down here July of 2005 for me to start graduate school at Duke. And I was in grad school a long time. My husband was willing to move for me again, if as he did this first time. So he's very fortunate in that regard. But I love North Carolina. I really didn't want to leave. And I recognized that I wanted to have my own business. So we were in Durham for 9 years, and then we've been in Apex since 2015.
Yeah. Apex is it's a very beautiful town. And I've watched it grow. We've been here since 2009, and I see it change
Yes.
and grow, and actually became even more beautiful than when we got here.
Yeah, we feel very fortunate to have moved in when we did, and where we did. And I agree with you. We love it. I love our greenways. I love being so close to the tobacco trail and just all the greenways in Apex and in Cary as well. So I feel very fortunate to be here.
Yes, yes. And the people also are super nice. Like everywhere you go, everyone has time for you somehow. And they'll they'll take their time with you, talk about whatever, or themselves or the weather. And it's just makes it a very warm and welcoming community here too.
Yeah, we were just we love the outdoors, and we were on an RV trip, and I won't mention where, but we do a lot of hiking, and it became very quickly apparent to my husband and children it and it was in the US, but kind of a different culture of like when you pass people on the trail, there was no like nice like head nod or wave or good afternoon. It was like just passing each other. In here I'm on the greenway, and I'd say almost 100% of the time there's at least the head nod of like how you doing or something. So
Yeah.
the friendliness, I don't take that for granted, and I agree with you completely about just how welcoming and friendly the area is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So what made you choose this profession of
Mm,
writing and editing?
yeah, I think it chose me. So I I I started this role at the writing studio, and this is just a part-time role that as a grad student you need money, so you work. And whether it's a grading assistant or a teaching assistant, and I got selected to be a writing tutor. And I went into that feeling like I was a pretty crappy writer. I got my first papers back from Duke, and it was a little bit of a wake up call. Um, just it was a wake up call. And so I started very much with like, oh, can I do this? Oh, those little gremlins. But I found that I loved it. I just really loved the collaborative nature. And at this point, everything was in person. So literally sitting next to somebody saying, well, how can I help? What are your top concerns? And then helping them improve, not just on that document that these are mostly students, so turning it in for class, but also to help them become a better writer. And semester after semester, I just kept saying yes, like, yeah, I want to keep doing that. I don't want to do these other options. Um, and and I just realized like, and somehow over time I got known as like, oh, go to her if you need help with personal statements. And people would start coming with their resumes, and I'd be like, why are you coming to me with your resume? We have a really good career services here.
Yeah.
And be like, well, I heard that that you're really good with this. And so I realized over time, and I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit, where I would talk with my husband and be like, well, maybe when I am a professor, maybe I could have a side business. And, I had two kids in grad school too. Like, how unrealistic, but I've always had that draw. Um, and so I just accepted what my actions had been telling me, that I really liked working with writers and helping them improve their communication skills. Um, and the rest really is history. I've been doing this for over a decade now.
Okay, wow, yeah, that's an interesting story. So what drives you to do what you do? What motivates you?
Hmm. Um, it's a great question. I I think I've always been just very like intrinsically motivated to do my best and everything. But I genuinely feel it is such an honor and privilege to be able to help people when the stakes are high, when it really matters. And I don't take that lightly. I mean, I'm working with people who are applying for jobs. It's our livelihood. And so when I thought about what I wanted to do and just really scoped out, like, well, what will my business look like? One thing that I greatly underestimated was just the deep personal satisfaction that I get from helping people. And so that, I think that's it. I'm a helper. I love that role. My clients, I tell them I'm in your corner. I'd like to think they know that, like, I'm here for them. And that's just very motivating to know that you're able to play this small part in helping people execute their mission in life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an important change. I know it can get stressful at that time.
Yes.
So to have someone professional like you to take that part of the stress and help with that part of the stress, I can see how that can be helpful a lot.
Yeah. And I see it as partnering with them. I'll do the heavy lifting of writing a resume, but they're providing me with information. And then it's co-creating this work. Like I said, I do the heavy lifting, I will do that, but it's collaborative. It's where when they look at a document, they go, wow, that's me on paper. Wow. And it's not, oh, this is something that is what it's supposed to be. It's like, wow, this is me on paper, and showing my value. So yes, it's just, I think it's just the satisfaction I get of like getting to help people it just keeps me going every day with a great excitement and enthusiasm.
Yeah. So what would your customers say they love most about your business?
So I have had people tell me some of the sweetest things. I've been called a kind guide, a fierce editor, and a secret weapon. I've been called my resume fairy godmother. I think maybe the best compliment I've ever received was when someone said something to the effect of, "You make a dreadful process fun." So, so I think that maybe that I want customers to know, and I think they know, that I'm very committed to my own professional development. So I'm able to always be delivering the best I absolutely can be. I stay on top of trends and things like applicant tracking systems and all of this stuff with AI. Like, I stay on top of all of that. But also I think they know that I'd like to think I provide really strong customer service, and it's customized, and it's the little notes of on interview day, me sending a text or email saying, "You've got this," with the strong arm emoji, with cheering with them when things are good, and showing compassion when things aren't. I'm working with somebody, and yesterday, I was like, "Are you okay? You seem down." And he has to lay off 20 people this week. And, I think it goes a long way when people know you really care.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see you're the fairy godmother of of resumes and searching
Love them.
for. Yes, I love that one. Yeah.
Who would have
So,
thought I loved a document that most people hate working on?
yeah, yeah. So what are your goals over the next year?
Yeah. So really staying the course. I feel like um, I know my space, and it's continuing to work one-on-one with individual clients. Continuing to do some book editing, because I always have at least a book or two in the works, and those are longer term projects, and they just take longer. So I'm able to have a couple of those going on at a time. And continuing, helping people, as I said, like one-on-one, but also through workshops and speaking engagements, because I do a fair amount of speaking, sometimes digitally, with webinars and so across distances, but a lot of that tends to be local. Where I was at Duke a few weeks ago doing a workshop. I'll be down in Fuquay Arena in a week or two doing a workshop. I one of my favorite local organizations that my company sponsors is Women in Bio, RTP, and I'll be happy to do another resume workshop for them. So kind of, I'd say more of the same professionally. I am excited that I will have a book coming out, and that will be soon. So that will be exciting, through the next year. And personally, I am a national parks geek, and I would love to get myself to a couple more national parks in the next year.
Yeah. So I gather that you like to do hiking on your free time when you have a free time. I know it's owning a business is very demanding.
It
And
is.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And I've learned that over time, the boundaries. I'm still a work in progress, but as any business owner knows, um, yeah, it can be challenging to have those boundaries, but I have gotten a lot better at them. So you're right. I do try to get outside frequently. And I love hiking. My family and I, we're on the trails a lot. Jordan Lake, the Tobacco Trail, and I'm very active in the Apex Ruck Club. So I ruck almost every day. Sometimes I have people, they beep their horn, they see me outside. There I am rucking. And that is simply walking with a weighted backpack. So for
okay.
people who don't know what it is, because it's growing in popularity, but I don't think it's universal that everybody knows what rucking is.
Yes, I didn't know. So that's a new for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see people walking around Apex and they all have these backpacks on, it's probably a rucking club.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you said so the exciting thing that is coming up pretty soon is your book is coming soon. Very soon, you're saying.
Yeah. Yes. So um, I am so excited that October 17th, the third paradigm is being published by Entrepreneur Press, and I'm a co-author on that. And it's all about how there's a proven strategy to solve some of the most pressing problems, business, personal, even global, really, through a process of co-creation. And one of the co-authors is Dr. Ivan Meisner, who's the founder of BNI, which is the world's largest referral organization. And it has just been such an exciting process to work with him and Dawa Phillips, who's the other co-author on this project.
That's nice. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to your book.
Thank you.
And then you also mentioned that you'll be speaking at a big conference right here in Apex.
Right
Tell us
here
about
in
that.
Apex, yes. You do not have to travel far to attend this, so I'm thrilled to be a part of. It's called Be Your Own Shero. It is a women's empowerment conference, and it is sponsored by Steininger Consulting. So Dr. Ruth Steininger was the principal of Olive Chapel Elementary. My children went there, and it was very evident to me that she was an exceptional leader. And she owns a coaching practice now, and she's sponsoring it. And our very own mayor of Apex is sponsoring it as well. And there's going to be a great lineup of speakers on all different topics. And of course, vendors and lunch provided. So there will be plenty of networking opportunities and just time for women to get a little bit of professional development of their own in all different capacities. Like I said, the topics range from health and wellness, and to nobody's surprise, I'll be talking about careers. So I'll be doing a workshop on career mapping, and that will be coming up in January. So just right after the new year, there will be that conference to come to.
Well, we'll definitely look forward to it, and I will be definitely attending because it just sounds like it will be fun and also very informative. Because I mean, for some of us, we've been in business for very little. Some of us we've been in business for a long time. Things change. It's nice to network with people also. So I think it's great, and it's right here in Apex, and we get to hear you speak, and Mayor Jacques is going to speak, I'm assuming. So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you're right what you said of like a lot of times we do things, and as professionals we just kind of keep going, right? Like the hamster wheel. But like one of the things with what I'll be talking about is like a lot of women have put more time into planning a Disney vacation than to planning their careers. Which, and I mean, I've been to Disney. I know what it takes to plan that. So it's less of like, for me at least, I will be going through exercises with people. It'll be very action oriented and thoughtful of, like, don't just let your career or business unfold in front of you, right? It's more of like, you want to be in the driver's seat, and you have to be really intentional to do that. So you can be so satisfied. We work so much in this country. You might as well do something you love.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you. We're almost ready to wrap up. Before that, can you tell our audience what is the best way to reach you?
Yeah. So I invite everybody to take a look at my website, which is careerpathwritingsolutions.com. To contact me directly, it's Heidi, Heidi, at careerpathwritingsolutions.com. And on LinkedIn, I'm Heidi Scott Giusto, PhD. So people are, of course, welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Heidi. It was wonderful talking to you. And yeah, and thank you for thank you for agreeing to do this for us. And for our audience, my name is Diana Lockie. I'm a local real estate agent here in Apex area. And if you ever need help with preparing your home for sale for the spring, or you need to buy a home or even rental, I work with renters as well. You can always reach out to me. And thanks again. Have a great day.